How do you behave at the workplace? What kind of principles and values you carry at the workplace? That is very, very important. If you want to maintain a number, you want to maintain a standard, you want to maintain a quality factor altogether, that means you need to have quality built with quantity. What is this value system? It is all about maintaining standards, principles, and morals in each and every activity that you do. Good morning and welcome to the first session of Unit 5, where we are going to speak about the business ethics in entrepreneurship development. Now, what is more important in life is all about the values that you carry as an entrepreneur. Because when you build an organization, you're not just working for profit, but you are working for an image which is always need to be respected. So moving forward, let's try to understand the meaning of ethics in entrepreneurship. Now, ethics means good behavior or conduct at workplace or acceptable code of conduct. So what I try to make you understand here is that ethics means that this is the behavioral pattern that we are talking about. How do you behave at the workplace? What kind of principles and values you carry at the workplace? That is very, very important. So, if you are a kind of entrepreneur who believe in social values, in ethics, in guidelines clearly, you are a kind of person who will go as per the need of the organization. So, you need to set an example in the organization through your behavior, through your conduct. You should be able to motivate and guide people by your exemplary behavior. So that's why I would say that ethics is the most important part when it comes to the organization behavior. Now, a social responsibility refers to how you relate with the public in a business setting. Many a times, it so happens that as you start growing up in the business, you forget the same society where you came from. The reason is that you might feel society has not done anything for me. I am just a part of the society. I have been contributing to the society by providing some employment or by contributing a part of your revenue as tax towards the government. But then you need to understand that there is something called as corporate social responsibility. If you are not building that corporate social responsibility, if you are not guiding your people and your organization for the benefit of the society, then you are not creating a complete organization. At any given point of time, please keep this in mind. Whatever kind of entrepreneur you become, however big you become, however largest in terms of your organization, and however richest in terms of the asset you own, but if you are not able to prove anything beneficial for the society, you have not achieved anything. So that's why I would say social responsibility is a very, very important function that comes into in terms of relating with the public in a business setting altogether. Moving forward, now let's talk about the business ethics and the social responsibility, a combination that needs to be always kept in mind when we are talking about the business. Now, a combination of ethics and social responsibility is important because it promotes professionalism in the way you have handled the customers. It helps in maintaining good standards in terms of quantity and quality, and it builds a trust between the customers and the business. Now, first, let us look into these 3 points that we are talking about. It promotes professionalism in the way you handle the customers. Now, when you are trying to create a business organization, the customers expect an amount of value, principle, a business standard with you. The reason is that whenever a customer walks inside your shop, inside your organization, he feels that this organization really knows the meaning of business. He does not want to be a part of any transaction where there is no professionalism, where there are no standards, where there are no ethics, where there is no responsibility from the organization. So unless and until you inculcate the power of professionalism inside each and every transaction that you follow, you will not be able to get back your customers. You will not be able to build in a trust among your customers. So professionalism shows the quality and nature of work that is being shown by you. That is why I would always say professionalism is such an important factor that we are talking about. Now, when you book your orders through Amazon or through Flipkart, you immediately get a message saying that your orders have been booked. You go to that extent where your goods can be tracked. You can see when it's exactly going to come to your place, and you will get a delivery slip, an acknowledgement saying that the particular goods has been delivered to you. Why is this methodology followed? Amazon could have just told you that when the goods is coming, they might just make a phone call and say that your goods are arriving, please be ready. But that is not the process. That is not the standard. Amazon believed that every time when a customer raises an order, it is the responsibility of the organization to go forward and keep a track of each and every movement of the customer, each and every movement that the customer wants to know about the goods. So that's where the organization grew into a professional organization. Now, the second thing is that it helps to maintain good standards in terms of quantity and quality. One side, as a customer, as an organization head, what you always feel here is that numbers are enough for me. But the other side, let me tell you, with the numbers comes the challenge of maintaining that numbers. If you want to maintain a number, you want to maintain a standard, you want to maintain a quality factor altogether, that means you need to have quality built with quantity, numbers built with standards. Then only you will be able to go forward and tell the organization what exactly we have done, how exactly we have been able to achieve. Now, it builds a trust factor. The most important thing in any business is the trust. If you are able to build trust in the minds of your customer, that yes, I would stand by you at any point of time. Now, that is what we talk about business altogether. Followed by, it promotes achieving of common goals and maintaining customer network altogether. Now, that is a very, very important concept. Why? Because it promotes a common concept. It promotes an achievability altogether. Now, the good ethics enhances high standards of customer service and expectation. Now, this is very, very important. Why? Because you need to build that ethics. You need to build that standard altogether. If you're not building that standard, if you're not building that capability in terms of delivering services altogether, then you are not building a good ethics at all. You're not building a good principle at all. So that is why I would say that good ethics is very much important in any of the business. If you're not having that business, you will not be able to get a high standard, a professional standard in the customer organization altogether. So you have to build a relationship. You have to build a system altogether. The need for ethics to an entrepreneur, that's very, very important. Why? Because the social dimensions of business ethics, when you start understanding this, it's very, very important. Why? Because it cannot be overlooked, because many problems arise from the relationship to the broader society. Now, if you cannot understand the value of ethics, if you cannot understand the dimensions of ethics altogether, many of the problems can arise from the relationship to the broader society aspect altogether. So, ethical considerations are significant for the managers due to the following reasons. For every individual, let me tell you that job is the center of life. That is definitely true. Unless job values are in harmony for the rest of the life, he cannot be happy and a healthy person at all. So that becomes very, very important here. Now, the modern society is an industrial society that has to be accepted, and therefore the business value becomes the value of the society of whole. So what is happening here is that as the societal has values have developed, if you start looking at the modern society today, we have become very mechanical in terms of doing our job. We have become so engrossed with our activity that we don't have time to look forward for any other thing. So we just believe that the concept of business is all about running around in terms of making money, in terms of moving forward and telling the principles of the factor how to make more and more money. So you will not be in a position to go back, realize and understand that yes, we need to do something for the betterment of the society. So that is where what happens is that the ethics always comes behind. It takes a back seat and the entrepreneurs forget it in the long run. They are not able to visualize it. They're not able to understand how to imbibe ethics back into business. Now, if you see here, an entrepreneur must consider the factor that he has to take in the moral and social values because they are the real motivating factors. You might be making losses for the last 2 or 3 years or 5 years also. That really does not bother the society. Why? Because they are not directly concerned with your operations. But if you are a kind of a business who is really concerned about the society, who really wants to do something for the society, you believe in the moral values of the society, then automatically the business will get enhanced because the society will give the support when it is needed. So that's why I would always say that this is a very big motivation factor. If you don't have that values, the motivation does not reaches you on time. Followed by when an organization fails to behave in accordance with the social expectation, it may also lose its image altogether and the market share and its very right to exist. Now, for example, when the Satyam fiasco happened in India, when the Satyam computers was being charged for the wrong accounting standards, when they were pulled out for promoting fraudulent accounting principles altogether, the entire company crumbled down like a pack of cards. The reason for that was not just because of the wrong principles or the wrong methodology followed, but because of the negative image, because of the bad image, because following the wrong values that put the company completely to pieces. So that is where I would say that the very existence of an organization starts from the moral values. The very existence of your organization starts from your vision and your mission. It makes you understand what is the purpose of doing business. What is the purpose where we are serving the society. So that is very, very important for us. If you are not understanding that purpose, you will not survive anymore in the society. Followed by the study of business ethics insulates all the high-level activities integrity of the entrepreneur. Now, that is one thing where you will be able to go forward and set an example. You will be able to make wise decisions and judgments, understand what is happening in the society, and then take it forward. Now, the significance of value in management. What is the significance of value? What is this value all about? Now, when you talk about service, when you talk about communication, when you talk about credibility, innovation, creativity, and all other factors here, in view to that, we have got something called as a value system. What is this value system? It is all about maintaining standards, principles, and morals in each and every activity that you do. The way you communicate, the way you put forward a policy, the way you make people understand how things are happening, all those factors will make a difference when you are talking about it. So that's why I would say that in a view of the organizational work, values are significant enough. Value system will definitely influence the choice of organizational goals and the strategies adopted to achieve those goals. So it's very, very important for us. Individual judge organizational success as well as the achievements based on their value system. So when you talk about companies like Infosys, people value the company because of their moral values, what they have set in the society. They were the first company in India ever to start with something called as HRA, which means to say that human resources accounting. They went up to the extent of printing each and every employee's salary on their annual report because they wanted to be transparent enough to tell to every single person in the society, including the investors and the board of directors and promoters, this is what we are paying. They did not shy away from spending. They did not shy away from telling people what exactly is happening inside the organization. Today, Infosys stands as an example, as a benchmark, which most of the organization aspire to become. The reason for this is that they inculcated moral practices. They inculcated ethics in every single aspect of work in which they do. So that is why I would always say that the biggest achievement that an organization can ever think about is a set of values. That set of values which will set you apart, which will make you believe on the factor that you are different from those hundreds and thousands of organizations which exist in the world. So that's where I would always say that the values determine the extent to which individuals accept the organizational pressure and the goals. If they do not match the value they throw, the organizational pressure, the goals even leave the organization. What happens here is that people just leave the organization when you are not able to maintain value, when you are not able to maintain a system. Most of the organizations do not become successful organizations because they have not maintained a set of values. When you maintain it, even the employees get interested with you and they start bringing it into the live action. Followed by the causes of growing concern for social responsibility. Now, this is a very, very effective exercise for public relations. Point to be accepted and noted. Image building of a business house in a society. What image do you carry in the society? Two-way CSR activities, what I would say. One, it's a CSR where you have the upliftment of the society that will cooperate and help in, and it will also help you to achieve the business goals in return, because all about when you market yourself, the society also wants to accept you and take you as a leader. Make the best use of natural resources so as to raise the national income and standard of people. Now, when you look into this example here, I would like to bring in ITC, which brought in the concept of e-Chaupal in the state of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh in North India altogether. They had adopted more than 40 villages and many hundreds of people, farmers, basically in order to improve their life and their living standards. They brought in a concept through which they could promote the ideology of sustainability, ideology of growth, and they understood that by adopting the villages, by bringing in a system like Classmate, and through which they can contribute an X amount of their funds for the development of children and their education, automatically their brand value will also grow up, and there would be a huge response altogether to create and more employment opportunities of the semi-skilled people, to protect the ecology of the nation, to contribute to the economic development of the backward region. All these factors are very, very important. Why? Because when we talk about that corporate social responsibility, all these factors will actually help in terms of development of the society. Now, some of the top companies that are practicing CSR in India, let me just start with the example called as Mahindra and Mahindra, the leader in farm equipments in India. Now, Mahindra and Mahindra focuses on the child, especially on the girl child, youth and farmers through programs in domains of education, public health, environment, and Mahindra Pride schools provide livelihood training to youth from the local areas. And the economically disadvantaged community, they have already trained about 13,000 youth in the cities of Pune, Chennai, Patna, Chandigarh, and Srinagar. Now look at the amount of effort that Mahindra and Mahindra has taken in terms of helping the society, in terms of providing a beneficial growth altogether. Followed by, let's talk about the top companies follow the CSR practices. The next one is none other than Larsen and Toubro, India's largest construction conglomerate giant altogether. L&T is one big company always to recognize with the sector of construction. Water, sanitation, education, and probably they're looking into healthcare and skill building. In fact, in the last annual general meeting, L&T had proudly announced that they are setting up a cancer hospital, treatment for cancer hospital in Mumbai, absolutely free of cost for people, because they wanted to help people to overcome this disease altogether. Now, L&T partners with governments on health program focused on the productive health, tuberculosis, leprosy control, integrated counseling and testing centers. L&T's Community for Health is located in Mumbai. They are located in Thane, Coimbatore, and in Chennai. Now look at that effort that has been taken up by a construction company. If you look at L&T's size and the operation capability, it's something really mind-boggling. They are one among those companies in the world which has got the largest construction contracts that anybody can look into, that anybody can even imagine all about. But then L&T took this initiative of coming forward and helping those companies, helping the society, so that they can help in the upliftment of people's life altogether. Followed by the Infosys. No doubt about it. When I talk about this company, I'm so excited. Why? Because I'm not the brand ambassador of this company, but let me tell you, when you talk about Infosys, when you talk about Sudha Murthy and Narayan Murthy, they had been the pioneers of CSR, I would like to say. Why? Because they understood that the biggest problem in the society is not about abundance, but it is always about the restriction of resources. It is the lack of resources that creates problem in the society. Had everybody had equal money and equal access, society would have been much more greater. But then, for Sudha Murthy and Narayan Murthy, they understood that the lack of resources make the entire system go back. So that's why they had come forward in terms of providing primary education, healthcare, beneficiary facility, and most important, the Infosys Foundation USA is primarily built upon bridging the digital divide in America by supporting computer science education and training in the underrepresented communities altogether. Now, if you look at the amount of effort that has been taken by Infosys, it's mind-boggling. Why? Because every time they have taken the effort of helping somebody, helping the community and bringing it. So today, Infosys Foundation has helped hundreds and thousands of people in terms of getting a quality education and a good healthcare altogether. With this, I come to the conclusion of today's session. I hope and believe that this session was highly informative, useful, and of a great resource to you. In the upcoming session, we are going to talk about self-employment and the growth of self-employment trends in India. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me on the session today.